The garden hose hissed like a viper, spitting water in wild arcs as Karen's voice cracked the summer air. "Get off my lawn, you little punks, or I'll drown you like rats." It was a quiet Sunday in Willow Creek, a suburb so pristine it could have been a postcard until Karen Miller's rage turned it into a battlefield. The 47-year-old accountant, known for her manicured roses and relentless HOA complaints, had reached her breaking point. Across her white picket fence, 5 teenagers, Jake, Mia, Tyler, Aisha, and Sam, were hosting an impromptu slip-and-slide party in Jake's backyard. Their laughter, music, and the thump of a borrowed speaker had pierced Karen's sacred quiet. To her, it wasn't just noise. It was an invasion. Karen Portaloo had stood there, hose in hand, her face a mask of righteous fury. The teens, soaked and stunned, froze as she sprayed them with icy water. Jake, the boldest, stepped forward, wiping his face. "Lady, are you insane? It's just a party." Karen's response was a blast of water aimed at his chest. "This is my neighborhood, not your playground," she screamed. Mia, clutching her dripping phone, yelled back, "You're gonna regret this, Karen." The name tossed with teenage venom hit like a slap. Karen's eyes narrowed, and she dialed 911, her voice trembling with triumph. "I'm being harassed by delinquents," she told the dispatcher. The cops arrived in minutes, lights flashing, drawing neighbors to their porches. Karen, now wrapped in a self-righteous smirk, pointed at the teens. "Arrest them. They're trespassing, disturbing the peace." But Jake, still dripping, held up his phone. "Check this out," he said, showing a video Aisha had recorded. It captured Karen's hose attack in vivid detail, her wild swings, the teens' stunned faces, and her shouted threats. The officer's expression darkened. "Ma'am," he said, "this looks like assault." Karen's smirk vanished. "Assault? I was defending my property." The truth was murkier. The teens hadn't crossed her property line. The slip-and-slide was on Jake's lawn. Karen's water, however, had crossed boundaries both literal and legal. The officer explained that spraying someone with a hose could be considered assault with a weapon in a heated context. Karen's jaw dropped. A weapon? It's a hose. But the law didn't care about her intentions. By the time the cuffs clicked around her wrists, the neighborhood was buzzing. Karen Miller, the queen of complaints, was being fined $500 for assault. The teens, though shaken, were unharmed but furious. As Karen sat in the back of the patrol car, her mind raced. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. She'd spent years shaping Willow Creek into her vision of perfection, filing noise complaints, reporting unkempt lawns, even calling animal control on a neighbor's suspicious cat. To her, the teens were a symbol of everything wrong with the world. Disrespect, chaos, entitlement. But to the teens, Karen was the embodiment of control gone mad. A woman who saw their joy as a personal attack. The story didn't end with the fine. The video went viral on X within hours, tagged Karen Hose Attack. Comments flooded in, some calling Karen a suburban tyrant, others defending her right to peace. The teens, now local celebrities, leaned into the attention. Jake posted, "She called us punks, but who's the criminal now?" Mia, more reflective, wrote, "I get she was mad, but waterboarding us? Too far." Aisha, whose phone was ruined, started a crowdfunding campaign for a new one, raising $1,000 in a day. The neighborhood split into camps. Team Karen, who saw her as a victim of youthful disrespect, and Team Teens, who saw her as a bully with a hose. Karen, meanwhile, sat in her pristine living room that night, the fine notice crumpled in her hand. Her husband, Tom, a quiet man who'd long learned to tiptoe around her temper, tried to reason with her. Maybe you overreacted, hon. They're just kids. Karen's eyes flashed. Kids? They're vandals. This neighborhood's gone to hell since those families moved in. Tom sighed, knowing her those families' jab wasn't just about noise. Aisha's hijab, Sam's rainbow wristband, and Mia's outspoken activism had always rubbed Karen the wrong way. Her hose attack wasn't just about the music. It was about control, about a world she couldn't bend to her will. The next day, the teens fought back not with hoses, but with a plan. They organized a water fight for peace in Jake's backyard, inviting the whole neighborhood. Hundreds showed up, armed with water guns, balloons, and laughter. The event raised money for a local youth center, turning their anger into something positive. Karen watched from her window, her curtains twitching, her heart a knot of resentment and shame. She hadn't meant to become the villain. She'd only wanted order, respect, the life she'd been promised in Willow Creek's glossy brochures. But the world had changed and she hadn't. The viral video haunted her. Strangers left voicemails calling her Hose Lady. Her HOA presidency was revoked. Tom moved to the guest room, unable to bridge the gap her anger had carved. The teens, meanwhile, thrived. Jake got a scholarship for his leadership in the water fight. Aisha's crowdfunding story caught the eye of a tech company offering her an internship. Mia started a blog about suburban conflicts, gaining thousands of followers. Sam and Tyler, best friends since grade school, used their share of the funds to start a community art project, painting a mural of kids splashing in water under the words, "Live and let live." Karen's fine was paid, but the real cost was her reputation. She stopped tending her roses, her pride and joy, and they withered under the summer sun. One evening, Aisha knocked on her door, holding a small potted rose. "I thought you might want this," she said softly. "We don't hate you, you know. We just want to be neighbors." Karen stared at the plant, her throat tight. For the first time, she saw Aisha not as a threat, but as a person. She took the rose, mumbling a thank you, and closed the door. Alone, she sat at her kitchen table, the rose's faint scent filling the air, and cried. Not for the fine, not for the video, but for the woman she'd become a stranger to herself, wielding a hose like a weapon against a world she couldn't control. The neighborhood never forgot. The teens' water fight became an annual event, a symbol of unity over division. Karen never attended, but she watched from her window each year, the rose on her sill a quiet reminder of the day she lost more than a court case. She'd called the cops first, but justice had found her instead. Was Karen a victim of her own rigid ideals, or were the teens' actions a justifiable rebellion against her control? Share your thoughts on where the line between right and wrong lies in this clash of community and conflict.